tuned in to the crew podcast and media network, where voices rise, stories shine, and purpose meets the world.
Welcome to the crew. Come on in. This is where it starts. We are the change. We are the change. Right here in our hearts. Welcome home, welcome through. There's a place for you. The crew around the world, lifting every voice too. We make space for the voiceless, hope for the undeserved. Real talk, real stories. Every voice deserves to be heard. Streaming live, we on the move. Facebook, Twitch, Kick, YouTube. From the mic to the nations, we build transformation. Change begins with us. Faith, purpose, power.
Hey everyone, this is your girl SC BookGal 843, and it is another Tuesday night. So y'all know what that means. New author and a new book. So, like I always say, how are you guys? Okay. Now I'm gonna be on the real. I had a great holiday weekend, hang out with my auntie. Hey Auntie Teeny, and my cousins. And had a great holiday, but kind of troubled now because of what's been going on in the media about the city of North Charleston and the situation that happened. Um, it's a lot to unpackage, but I'll talk about that on another show. We ain't gonna worry about that right now. All I'm gonna do is say, please get a handle to your kids, you guys, because that situation could have gone left, and we could have been singing high and burying low. If you catch my drift. But tonight, y'all, I got an author, 30 plus books and counting. And these books are right up my alley, y'all. Just y'all know how I am, right? So, Enigma is an award winning author, screenwriter, filmmaker, and an animator known for crafting compelling stories across multiple genres. I love that. Never be contained inside a box. If you can step out of your box, step out of your box. He began his creative career writing screenplays before expanding into filmmaking and animation, where his work developed a loyal following. Since publishing his debut novel, Confession of a Call Center Junkie. Y'all, see what I'm saying? The Diary of Lil. In 2016, he has written numerous novels spanning drama, science fiction, romance, and crime. And y'all, crime is becoming the new genre because we're coming out of that romance phase. And now we're trying to find out who killed him and why they killed him in the books, okay? So, his imaginative storytelling and emotional depth continues to captivate readers with powerful, unforgettable narratives. So, you guys, let's bring up Enigma. I am saying it wrong. I told him I would. I told you I was going to. I told
You
you it
are
was coming.
good. It's Enigma. That's all you got to know.
Can I call you E? I don't mean to disrespect.
Yeah, people call me E. They call me E all the time, so I'm good with that.
Listen. 30 plus books, but we'll come back to that later. Can you tell me something about yourself that I did not read in your bio?
Well, a lot of something that I guess I didn't really talk about is the whole process of how a lot of those stories that I come up with and how they're generated based off of dreams. The first thing I've ever written was based off a dream I had, and I took it as a sign that this needed to be put in some sort of format to tell it to other people. Initially, I wanted to do like sci-fi, just sci-fi. I'm a big sci-fi fan, but then I started kind of just going with the flow of different things. So, and the name Enigma comes from the meaning that you never know what you're going to get from me. So it's like a riddle. You don't know what you're going to get. I may be, if I'm in the mood to write romance, I will. If I'm in the mood to write science fiction, horror, whatever it is, I will write it based off of my mood. So that's why I go by the name Enigma, or E for short.
So let me tell you guys, I went and I looked through his catalog. You should see me. He went from this, like, what in the world? Hold up, he over here, but now he coming over here. How do you do that with all the different genres?
So, like we talked about, I started off doing movie scripts. I'm a big movie buff. I love movies, but when I watch TV, just like most people, I don't like to watch the same thing. I may be in the mood for an action movie. I may be in the mood for a romantic comedy. I may be in the mood for sci-fi. And so I don't want to contain myself to just one genre because that's not what I am. I watch a bunch of TV, a bunch of movies and things like that. And I just like the TV, sometimes I want to read something that's different. I want to write something that's different. So I've always been like that. I'm just not a person who can stay in like one lane. Like if I see something, I want to try to duplicate it, and I want to do it in whatever genre and without any limitations.
And I really do like that because that as a reader, that keeps me guessing. I can't put you in a box. Now let's go back. You said that a lot of your books come from your dreams.
Mhm.
I want to know what you eating before you go to bed. Because some of your books, I've read some of the stuff, synopsis. I'm like, you dream some of this stuff? Like, come on. Like,
Yeah, I mean, even my bestseller book, I know the one that we had on the cover there, Between Wives, that whole first chapter of it was specifically a dream. And I just woke up and I said, this is a book. I didn't know what the book was yet. I just know that this scene that I had in my head is a book and I needed to expand on it.
so when you're like that, I know a lot of authors say they have something about a nightstand and they're writing everything down. How do you how do you keep control of all your thoughts? Like, okay, you wake up out of your dream. Okay, this is going to be a book. What's the next step that you do?
Well, the next step is kind of I'll jot, like you said, jot the idea down. I'm more of a tech person, so I'll get on my phone and just kind of type it in one of my notepads or whatever, and then I'll kind of let it marinate for a second. I'll actually, like in that specific case, since it was the beginning of the book, I'll actually just go ahead and write that scene and then just kind of let it marinate for a while to see where it's going to go. So I always say that there's two types of authors. There's the planners and there's the growers. I'm a grower. I like to see where it's going to go. Certain books, when I'm writing them, I don't even know the ending as of yet, and I'm just writing the story as it develops in my head. So it really depends on the situation. But I always try to get something written down and then let that motivate me to kind of build on that.
That's mad crazy. That's like mad crazy talent when you do it that way. So what made you want to become an author?
Well, like you talked about, I started off doing, because I'm a movie buff, I started off doing like movie scripts and things like that. And I actually had a couple of scripts that were optioned, but they didn't go anywhere. And so I still had these stacks of scripts and I wanted to still get these stories out. So a lot of those scripts I converted into novels. It's basically the opposite of what most people do. Most people do the novel first, then the script. I was the other way around. And I still wanted to just get the stories out there. Like, if they're not going to make it as movies, Hollywood is just such a fickle environment to try to get some things done. And I'm still working on certain things, but I just wanted to really get those stories out. And so this way I have more of a control of who I can get it out to and also share it to the public, because sharing scripts to people, I mean, yeah, some people will read them, but you really want to get into the novels to be able to get people immersed in your work.
And that's true because Hollywood is very fickle with that. But I have to say, on the flip side, I've been finding a lot of books to movies on Tubi. Like,
Hmm.
a lot of people like, oh, that's B movies. Oh, the movies ain't gonna make it. You would be shocked how many people I've seen on my timeline say, hey, like, for instance, Secret Society. That was by Maisha. That was a long time ago, y'all. That was like maybe 15 plus years. Okay. This book has been made into a movie. Part one and part two. I actually sat there and looked at it and had to go back and read the book because I was like, I don't remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that part. So, Hollywood can be fickle, but then you know what? You got Tubi and other
Like
platforms that I'm seeing
streaming platforms now. Yeah,
that is about to take over. I think Hollywood about to get a run for their money because a lot of people aren't really going to movie theaters. I mean,
hmm
my daughter used to go all the time, and now it's like, oh,
Hey,
we'll catch it when it comes on TV.
hey, I'll take a Tubi movie. I have no shame. If I can get a
Listen,
Tubi movie, I will take it.
uh, uh, keep that thought right there. My sister, y'all, is terrible with these Tubi movies. This is the only person I know would inbox me about 4 to 5 movie titles and ask me to look at 'em. Like, chick, I got things to do. But it shows the power of the tongue, and don't give up on it because somebody's going to pick it up.
Exactly.
So, which one do you feel is harder to do? Screenplays or writing a novel? Which one's more complicated?
Well, writing a novel, I wouldn't say it's more complicated. Like, screenplays are a lot shorter, so they're a lot easier to get out and put on paper. But I wouldn't say it's harder for a novel, because I think the novel allows you to dig in a little deeper. And so really getting, the screenplay, just you got to, like, 2 hours, an hour and a half to 2 hours to tell a story. And so you have to make sure it connects with the audience, like, right offhand. The novel, you get to dig a little deeper in background. And that's why I, love that format, because a lot of the stories I was telling in the scripts, they were good, but it allowed me to dig a little deeper into those characters that I love so much. And so to be able to convert them over that way, it's just, obviously takes more time, but it obviously allows me to really dig in deeper, give more description, add characters that weren't even in the original script. I've had books where I've turned it was just about, like, really one character was the main character, but now, well, with the scripts rather. And then when I write the books, I have multiple characters now because I can expand on certain things. So the scripts is always going to be easier because, like I said, it's 120 pages, 120, 190 pages, depending on how long the movie is. And then, with the novel, you got to dig in a little deeper.
Okay, I see. So now we're gonna bring up these books of yours. Y'all, he's so nice. He brought twice. Two books, you guys. Look at these covers. I told y'all these are books that I would read. Look at them. Okay. Between Wives. So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to talk about each book.
Okay.
I'm that reader, and I said, tell me about your books. 2 minutes on each book. Go.
All right. All right. So Between Wives. So this was one that I had a dream on. So the main character, he's a police officer. He's working a case. He raised this drug house. When he goes in there, there's nothing in there. When he leaves, it's 10 years later, his wife and kids don't exist and he's married to somebody else. And so that's the pitch that I always give everybody, because it basically puts you down that rabbit hole of trying to figure out, well, what happened to this guy throughout this whole process? And that's really the most I can tell it without spoiling it. It's just one of those books that again, that whole scene that I just talked about, that was a dream. For some reason, I was a police officer and I was raiding a house, and I went in there, and then I walked in. There was nothing there, and I'm walking out. Somebody else that I didn't know was like, "Hey, baby." I'm like, "Who was that?" And and I just woke up and was like, "What was that?" And it became a story. And so, as you get into the story, you get to learn exactly what happened to him on that day and why it happened. And as the story progresses, you may start to think that maybe he's crazy. Did his wife and kids actually exist? Were they real? Was this his life the whole time? You don't know, but there is an explanation for it. And everybody gets to the end, they're like, what? It's just one of those books.
Oh,
um,
wow.
it, Oh, I was about to say, and then Illustrious Solitude. This one is always my favorite. I don't know why. When I wrote this script, it was more of a character study. And so the main character, think of somebody who's like a pop star like Beyonce. They have the money, the power, and the fame, but they're not happy because of some past trauma in their life. And so what she does with that money, power, and fame is she's very vengeful and uses that to influence anybody who hurts her, anybody who does anything bad to her. So it's really a toxic individual. Nobody tried to fight through that trauma or that toxic lifestyle until she hires this publicist who tries to fight through the trauma and give her the love that she deserves. So the reason why it's always my favorite is because really you have a character who has been so damaged in her past, and she just can't see past it. I mean, she's just mean. Like in the public eye, she's this great star. She knows how to keep it up in the public, but behind closed doors, she is just mean as all outdoors. And so, you really get to get into her psyche and really see the type of things that could really drive somebody crazy. I mean, you have all the money and power and all that, for regular folks, you're like, hey, that's a good life. She has all that and she's miserable. And so you really get to see that trauma that's developed. And I like this character so much that I've actually have these little shorts that I put out there, these little slide shorts where it digs even deeper into her youth. And then also there's even music that was created because she is a pop star that kind of tells the tale as well. So I'm really invested into this character. I don't know why this is my favorite, but it's always been my favorite.
See, now you kind of went into my question. So my question is, which one is your favorite,
Mhm.
and why did you choose that one? And
Well,
which one was the most complicated to write? Because these two different spectrums. I love the fact that you're not an author who always has a female as the main character. Like you're giving the men some playtime too. So, which one was your favorite? Which we already kind of know, and why did you choose it?
so the one that was most difficult to answer that first question was definitely Between Wives because I had no idea what I was going to end this book with. And the reason I like it that way is because when I'm writing it, I'm confused, the character's confused, and hopefully the reader is going down like when there's different transitions that happen, they're like, wait, what happened? And it keeps you entertained. It keeps you, in just really looking like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? My wife, she read it and she kept texting me like, wait, what happened? I said, just keep reading. She'll read another couple chapters. She'll text me back. Wait, really? What's going on? Just keep reading. It's one of those books. And so that one was probably the hardest to write because, even then I was trying to figure out how I wanted to end it. And then when it finally hit me, it was just like, oh, this is perfect. And then Illustrious Solitude, the reason it's my favorite, I honestly don't know. I mean, it was just a character I came up with when I was doing my scripts. And it was probably one of my longer scripts. And the reason why is just really, we tend to think that money resolves everything. I know money will fix every last one of my problems, if I had this amount, that amount, whatever. But, when you have a lifetime of trauma, that really something that you didn't deal with, that you just had a lot of bad luck and a lot of trauma that just drove you, even all the success in the world is not going to remove that trauma. You're not going to get rid of it just by, oh, it'll solve itself. That's not how things work. Trauma lingers. And unless you actually have somebody there who can fight for that trauma, and she's been locked in for so long, by the time you meet the character, I mean, she's almost in her 40s. I mean, this is like, and this what happened to her actually happened when she was a teenager. And so she hasn't let this go. And but anybody who does anything to her, she lashes out in vengeance. She uses her influence to really mess up people's lives. And nobody tried to fight through that. It just went unweathered until she hires this publicist who sees her for the first time, and he's trying to fight through that trauma to really say you can let it go. You can live a life of happiness. You don't have to hold on to this trauma and let it run you. So I mean, maybe that's part of it, just her journey from, what she was and to the point to where, she gets to starting to, adjust to letting that trauma go. But there's still some things that happen. One thing you'll know about me, the endings of a lot of my books, not all of them, but a lot of my books, they're bittersweet. There's going to be some things that happen that are like, oh my God, it's sad, but it has a sort of a happy ending, but there's a lot of, sacrifice to be made to get there.
Man, come on, man. I thought I was going to have the happy ending books. Okay, okay.
Bittersweet. Like I said, it's not sad, just bittersweet.
So, as the reader, what should I take from the books, or what would you want me to take from the book? It's like, I just want you to relax, have fun, and read. I want you to get that life is, life can change. What do you want your readers to get from your books?
And this is just any of my books. I just want you to be entertained. We all go through life, and life is hard. Different things that we're dealing with. I just want you to disappear just like I do when I'm writing it. Like no matter what's going on in life, I can disappear into a whole universe that in this case I control, and I can, mold it in a way to where some of the stories, and not all the stories, some of the, I have comedy books that are just pure comedy. It's just to make you laugh. That's all I want you to do. I have I have a book that deals with domestic violence, excuse me. And dealing with domestic violence, I want you to see, from the outside looking in, because that was a book that I did a lot of research on, since I wasn't ever raised in that type of environment. So I really wanted to have some questions answered about that so I can portray it. And then with sci-fi, I just want to send you to another world. I want to send you to a universe that, doesn't exist in reality. I want you to really just kind of disconnect from whatever's going on and just really, just get into a good book, get into good spirits. And like I said, depending on what you're interested in, I hope I can have something that's close to allow you to disappear for a while.
Awesome. So I know you said that your wife would ask you questions about your book. Has your wife ever been mad at one of the characters in your book and come up to you and be like, "So why did you do that?" Has she ever done that?
Well, I know we've had conflict on certain characters. It's like certain things. She's like, I don't get this. And I'm like, well, I'm the one who wrote it. So I think I'm the one who knows what they're thinking. Certain things like that. But yeah, I mean, she has characters that she likes. And like there's this one book called The Professionals, and you have two different characters. He's dating one character, but everybody likes the other character it's like a love triangle that he ends up getting with. And I'm like, do y'all not realize that he was actually dating the other girl, that the other girl that everybody loves is the one who kind of butted in and started the drama, but people don't really understand it. And that book is like a comedy. So it's not necessary to be taken seriously, but just things like that. She doesn't read all of them. Like she's not a sci-fi fan, so she won't read that. She'll read a lot of the urban fiction stuff, some of the coming of age stuff and tales like that. But yeah, certain ones she'll look at like, what's going on or she wants to argue a point about a character that I created. So go figure, but stuff like that, it's all fun.
I think that is awesome. That is so awesome. So I'm looking at all your books because you're talking about all of them, and this one really caught my eye. And This Is America. Can you tell me about that one? Because that I'm like looking at it right now as we speak, and that one just jumped out at me. I'm like, whoa, hold up, I might need to look at this real quick. Can you tell me a little bit about that one?
Sure. So that one I was actually going to make into a script, but I kept putting it off. But after the George Floyd murder, um, you know, it was something that needed to be talked about. So it's dealing with police brutality. And the way that it's written is this is a possibility if those issues aren't resolved. You know, you have a vigilante group who's actually going after the police who are get off on killing minorities. You know, so they're basically doing their own sense of street justice. And there is a situation where there was a true accidental shooting, and you get to see how it affects that police officer's life as well. But when I wrote it, what I didn't want to do is lean into, okay, we're going to just talk about this one issue. I wanted to show it on both sides. Like, I know we know this, you know, the harassment and the things that happens on the streets with the police and stuff like that. I also wanted to show it on the flip side too, like, you know, this particular officer who was actually innocent of the situation, you know, how his life changed through it as well. But it's really, and again, it's fictitious, but I thought about it like if we don't resolve these issues or really get a grasp on this, this is a possible thing that people will start taking the law into their own hands. And clearly we don't want that because that's going to cause even more backlash and, you know, harassment and things like that. But I really wanted to address that. I mean, the George Floyd thing just kind of just really, you know, motivated me to actually finish it. I started writing it as a script and I had put it to the side. But after that, I decided, you know what, I need to go ahead and get this book out here. I have this tale. I want to talk about it. I want to show it on both ends. But I really wanted people to understand that, you know, this can't continue on the way it's going.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I just hit the add to my Kindle Unlimited. While you were speaking, I've already clicked that. So that's in that Kindle Unlimited. I think I got like 10 books in there, y'all. So I know you gotta go on hiatus for a little while. But okay, so what what if you could say anything to your readers, what would it be?
Um, well, we kind of talked about it. You know, I go by the name Enigma because you never know what you're going to get. So with me, you know, you don't know what mood I'm in. I'm a Cancer sign, so they always say we're emotional. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily agree with that. But what I will say is I am moody to a point where I don't know what I'm going to write next. So a lot of people are like, you know, are we going to get a series? I have several series of books. You know, I have several. We talked about the different genres. I have a lot going on. So you don't know what my next book is going to be. You don't know what it's going to pop out and be. I can tell you right now, I've been working on I have an espionage series of a female spy thriller. She's kind of like James Bond, of course, a black female James Bond. And so, you know, I'm working on the third and final book of that installment. It may be final. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So I'm working on that third book there. The first two are already out. I have this third story that's just stuck in my head. So I want to go ahead and get that out. And then, you know, if she ever comes back in my head again, then, hey, I might write a fourth one. But right now, when I first started, it was a trilogy. And so I'm working on that. I also have a book that I finished that's more of a supernatural book as well. Both of those books, well, the supernatural book is actually done. I just need to go and quit being lazy and actually go edit it and start, you know, doing the final stuff on it. It's just once I got it on paper, what I like to do is I like to take a break from it. So when I come and look back at it again, it's fresh. But I started writing something else. And so now I got stuck to writing something else. But we'll see about that because I have like two books right now that are in reserve that are just sitting there waiting for me to finish the edits. And, you know, we'll see if it comes out this year or not. I don't know. Depends on if I get to it or not. But, you know, when I have the creative juices flowing, I don't like to stop. You know, I like to keep it moving while I have it, you know, and if I get to a point in the story where, you know, maybe a little bit of writer's block, I'll take a break and then maybe I'll revisit it then. But as long as I have something in my head, I just want to kind of keep it moving.
Okay. So do you self-publish or are you under a publishing house?
12 of my novels are published. The others are self-published. I went back to self-publishing, and it wasn't anything wrong with the publisher. It's just you know, to have that total control. You know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm just a control person. You know, I want to control how the covers look. I want to control the releases and all that type of stuff. And my publisher was they work with you and all that and stuff like that. But for me, I just want to control my work. And I've heard horror stories about different publishers and publications. So I just want to make sure that what's mine is mine, and I don't have to worry about that. But like I said, the publisher I was with, she was very good. The one who was running it, I had no issues with Major Key Publishing. That's who the other 12 novels are with. I still have a good, you know,
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
relationship with her now. And
whoa,
so,
whoa, hold up. Time.
mhm.
That's you? Time out.
What's that?
Let me go look over here. No, this cannot be.
What?
Hold up. You wrote Know Your Street Tales?
Yeah, I'm from New Orleans.
Man, look at
I'm from
here.
I'm from
Look
New
at here.
Orleans.
Your books are sitting on the shelf of my library.
Really?
That's what I'm looking like. No. I won't tell you the name the way I was saying your name is. Oh my God, this is crazy. When you
Mm,
said Major Key, I was like, hold up. We have a lot of their books in our library. And
okay.
okay, all right, I see you. I see you.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah, I was with them for 12 of my novels, and so that's the publishing company. They're a good publisher. So if anybody's out there looking for a good publisher, they're good to work with and everything. It's just I'm just more of a controlling person. I just want to make sure I have my arms around everything that's mine because you never know when things change. But yeah, they're a great publishing company for anybody who's looking.
okay, okay. So remember, before we came on, we were going to have those fun questions.
Hmm.
All right, here they are. Here they are. Are you ready?
Yep.
So I was thinking that we're going to talk about the book. Let's see. I am thinking The Luxurious Solitude.
Hmm.
All right, so we talk about Serena. Okay,
Hmm.
is Serena could be any R&B and artist. Okay, and when I say R&B, I'm talking about the '90s. That's when
Okay.
R&B was R&B. If she
Okay.
could be any '90s R&B artist, who would she be and why?
Well, it's funny you say that because when I first did, I used to make like little mock posters of my scripts back in the days, like they were actual movie posters. And her representative was Monica. She was Monica.
Oh,
And Monica, and I guess the reason, I don't know if there was a particular reason. I know there was just a great photo of Monica that just fit the whole Serena vibe. But Monica was also the first concert that I went to when I was down in New Orleans. So she was my first actual live concert that I went to. It was something, it wasn't even a real concert thing. It was some sort of like Olympic thing or something, and she just happened to be the performer there. And yeah, it will be Monica. She was the one that was actually on my mock cover when I first envisioned the character. So yeah, that's funny you said
okay.
that.
So Serena is Monica. Now we
Mhm.
got James. And let's say that he is one of the, we're going to step away from music. Let's say he is one of the '90s movie heartthrobs. Who would he be and why?
90s movie heartthrob. Ugh, that's a good one. Because in my head, I was thinking about somebody else, but he's not in the 90s. Um, if I had to pick 90s heartthrob, I don't want to say like maybe like a Wesley Snipes, maybe. I want to say
Okay.
maybe I could go with like a Wesley Snipes because I could see him playing that role. Something like he was a professional person, like in Jungle Fever, how he was. That type of vibe. So yeah, I could see Wesley Snipes being that James character.
See, I think my years are a little bit off because mine was 2000s. Because I was
Oh, okay.
actually thinking Omar Epps, but I was
Yeah.
too. I was a little bit. I would when I was reading your synopsis and I was thinking about it, And hearing you talk about it, I was really thinking about an Omar Epps type guy.
Well, what I was thinking about when you said earlier, I was thinking about Idris Elba. That's who I was in my head. I was like, Idris Elba would be a perfect James for that role.
Okay, so why would you have chosen him?
Just his stature. I mean, he just has the look of the who I have the character in my head. He just has that I could see him playing the role. My favorite show of all time is The Wires. That's why I was introduced to him in the first place. But I think he has that stature that'll work well. Like say if he's working with Monica in that situation, which he would be around the age of the character right now, to be honest with you. But yeah, he just has that. He just has that presence. I think that he will be able to put up with a lot of the stuff that he goes through in order to try to battle through her trauma. He just has he has the acting chops. He's a great actor. I like him, pretty much anything he's in.
Okay, so we have Monica and we have Idris Elba. Now, every good movie has to have a theme song. What would be the theme song for this book?
Well, I would choose one of my theme songs, one of the songs I created for it. Yeah. So the song I created for this is called it's like I put together like an album that you can kind of see her evolution. Love Gave Her Wings was the first song. It's actually that song is actually in the book. The lyrics are actually in the book. So I took those lyrics and actually made it into a song. But Love Gave Her Wings would be the theme song of the book. Because it really, you listen to the song, it talks about the struggle and what she had to do to kind of get through there. And when I created that whole album, this little mock album for her, the first songs you'll hear the viral song, then you'll hear the painful song, and then you'll hear some ratchetness because that's what she did growing up. And as the album continues, her stuff starts to be a little more mature, and she starts then towards the end, you start to hear about love and actual, heartache for certain things that went on in her past. You start to hear the real version of her. There's not the whole manufactured person that you hear in the first few songs that are just like I said, ratchet, just viral, just crazy stuff. You actually start to get to the heart and soul of her. So, I know that's not a song nobody's heard, but that is the song that is the theme of the book. Every time I see it, it's a song that I still listen to on my own.
All right. So, and then you have to have a co a co-chair, that person that's going to help you out. If you can co-author this book or have another um, big heavyweight to help you with this screenplay, any actor, author, musician, who would it be and why?
Well, I will say one of my favorite, and I'm going to go with director, is
Mhm.
Spike Lee. Spike Lee, he's one of my favorite. Well, I have two. I have Spike Lee, who's done a lot for the community. He's great with his movies. He'd be the main one, and then one off that people are going to be like, huh, because they're like totally different people. Is Quentin Tarantino, and the reason I like Quentin Tarantino is because of the dialogue. He basically writes dialogue like it's just a casual conversation, and I really try to mimic that because it's just like you just sitting like you're at work and just talking to people. He takes that and put it in the dialogue and just makes it sound so great. So I have to have Quentin Tarantino for my dialogue, but as far as the overall, the setting, the way the shot is, and the Spike Lee, he's just done it for so long. He's done it well. The Malcolm X movie is definitely in my top 5 movies of all time. The way he was able to capture that essence. I know a lot of it was Denzel too, but it would have never have been there without Spike Lee's direction. So really, them two right there would I think would make the perfect screenplay, the perfect movie.
Yeah, you went on two different streams. And when you said, I was like, huh?
Everybody says that.
It's like, okay, I see you, but huh?
hmm
So before we leave you tonight, won't you give us the rundown, like where we can follow you on social media? I know you have some upcoming events. where you can buy your books. I mean, the information has been scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but give us the rundown.
Well, you can always check me out and see what's new and get a listing to all my books and everything else that I do because I do like podcasts, reviewing movies and TV shows and things like that. It's just a hobby, so it's nothing big special or anything like that. But on my website at www.enigmakid.com, that's www.enigmakidd.com. From there, you can go. My books are on Amazon. You can also see the different events that I'm going to. The next one I'm going to is the Texas ReaderCon in Denton. That one's going to be on July, I want to say the 18th and 19th. I'll be in Greenville in November. I'll be in Houston. I'm doing an event. So I'm all around. I just got back from the African American Book Festival in Austin. It's such an amazing event. I love it. It's my third year going to that. So hopefully I'll get back to that one. But yeah, I try to do. I'm located in the Dallas area, so I do a lot of things around the Dallas, Arlington, Fort Worth areas. But I try to at least go to Austin, San Antonio, and Houston at least once a year for people who are a little further out. So I try to hit the major hubs at least once a year. So Houston, I will definitely be down there in November. I believe that's the Boots on the Ground event. I will be one of the authors there as well. So hopefully I'll start expanding outside of Texas, but right now it's just trying to get my feet wet on in these events and things like that. But yeah, check out my website. It has all the information of events, books. I even have a option called Character Corner where you can read about the different characters and get some more detail in some of the characters in my books. So, the website is the hub for everything. You want everything Enigma, you go to that website, you will find it.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us tonight and telling us about all your books. Like I said, I got This in America. Already in the Kindle Unlimited stack, so I'm gonna be reading that one. But thank you for being with us tonight.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, you guys, it's another Tuesday night and another book and another author. You guys go grab it. I mean, he got something for everybody. And I mean, you can't go wrong. Maybe challenge yourself. Read a book outside your genre. Yeah, I just said that. Y'all know. I'm trying. I'm trying to step outside my genre. I mean, my coworker said I need to read some Amish. I said, I don't think I can go that far. But, go ahead and grab his books. If you didn't get the whole show, catch the replay right after this on YouTube. You'll have all his information at the bottom. It'll also have where he's going to be at on all his social media, okay? Guess what, you guys? Remember, we still have some events going on with SC BookGals and Friends. We still have our This is awesome. Remember, go grab his books. Enigma. Because you never know what you're going to get from him. I remember that part. Another Tuesday night in the book. Remember, there's no such thing as an old book because not everybody has read every book. I'll see you guys next week, Tuesday, with a new book and a new author. This one is for the mothers and the sons.